Hi guys! Today we're going to talk about lesson 7.6, which is solving addition and subtraction inequalities. Very, very similar to what we did with equations. So I'm going to ask you guys to go ahead and open up your notebooks to your notes section. And we're going to go ahead and you can pause me, but I want you to go ahead and record this first example. It says solve x minus 3 is greater than 1, and then you're going to graph the solution. If you notice to the side here, I have the steps that we're going to be using, and they're going to look very, very similar to what we did when we solved equations. So we're going to go ahead and work through this first problem together. If you need to pause the video at any time, go ahead and do that. So the first thing, we're going to go ahead and write the equation, and please excuse my scribbly scratches here because I do not have a marker. I'm doing it with my mouse. So we'll go ahead and write our inequality. And we're going to make a t-chart. So we don't have an equal sign to make the t-chart through, so we're just going to go right through the inequality sign. So there we go. Step 2 says to use inverse operations to isolate the variable. So here's our variable x, and attached to it we have subtracting 3. So if you think to yourself, well, how do I get rid of subtracting 3? What's the opposite operation? And I can hear you guys saying it, add 3. So what we're going to do to keep it balanced, we're going to add 3 on both sides to keep it completely balanced. So over here, the subtracting 3 and adding 3, those are opposites of each other, so they end up giving you 0. So what's still left over here is your x, your variable. We still have our inequality symbol. And then over here, we have 1 plus 3, which is 4. Now, when we did equations, this would be the point where you would stop and you'd check your answer, but we have to go one step further. We're going to graph now. So we're going to make a little number line. Ooh, kind of messy. And I'm going to just plunk 4 in the middle, and we'll just put 2 numbers higher and 2 numbers lower. And that will be sufficient. So we'll put a 5 and a 6. And then a 3 and a 2. And when we go to graph, we have to look first at the symbol. We have a greater than symbol. So we have to decide whether it's going to be an open circle or a closed circle. And this might be where your notes from last week are helpful, but a greater than symbol would be an open circle. So I'll put my open circle here at 4. And then we have to decide which way the arrow is going to go. So if all my answers are going to be greater than 4, most people would say all the numbers that are greater than 4 go this way. And I want to check a solution. So let's try one. So 5. If I check 5, I'm going to put this in here. 5 take away 3 is 2. Is 2 greater than 1? The answer is yes. We're going to do one more. This one, we're going to solve y plus 2 is less than 17. If you want, you can pause the video before you see my solution and see if you can do it correctly on your own. But I have y plus 2 is less than 17. I'm going to go ahead and make my t-chart. And I'm going to look at what's with my variable, adding 2. So I want to subtract 2 on both sides. Take away 2. Take away 2 over here. On the left-hand side, adding 2 and subtracting 2 are opposites, so they give you 0. So I still have a y. I still have my less than symbol. Here I have 17 take away 2, which is 15. So here's my solution. But we're going to go one step further. We're going to go ahead and graph it. I'll put 15 right there in the middle. And then if we go 2 numbers higher, 16 and 17 and 14 and 13. And then we'll go ahead, after we've got our number line, we'll take a look at our inequality and decide. We have a less than symbol. You have to ask yourself, is that an open circle or a closed circle? It's going to be open. And then where the variable is, it's all your answers are going to be less than 15. So you have to decide your direction of your arrow. All the ones that are less than are going to the left. And then you can pick one out and check it. So if I say I tested 13, if I go back to the original inequality, I'll go way up here. 13 plus 2 is 15. Is 15 really smaller than 17? And the answer is yes. Hopefully you guys can use this to help you as we continue working on solving these inequalities tomorrow.